Hello, and welcome to Marketplace with Charles, brought to you by Art of Skincare. Art of Skincare, the company that brings out the beauty in you. Also, thanks to our new sponsor, Kuisa Lodge, situated in the heart of Mabalingwe Nature Reserve. That's a place that we like to be. Beautiful place with a big five. I am Charles Ngobeni. Stay tuned to find out how you can win an exotic weekend getaway for two with Kuisa Lodge, and also see if you're not our this month's winner. On Marketplace, we aim to empower, encourage, and equip you with the right tools that you need to move closer to you achieving your entrepreneurial dreams. Each week, we bring you insights from experts in different fields of business, from men and women of faith, but also from all ordinary people from all walks of life. Last week, we have discussed the relationship between family, marriage, and business. And this week, we want to continue with that topic. We had fun with my guest, Pastor Tich. And unfortunately, we could not finish up the topic. There's still a lot that we need to learn. Pastor Tich, once more, welcome to Marketplace with Charles.
Thank you, Charles. I'm so excited to be back. We've been having a really great time since the other week, and welcome to the viewers.
For the sake of our viewers who might have missed the last episode, who is Pastor Tich and what does he do?
Pastor Tich is the husband of one wife, one beautiful wife, Francisca, a woman who I love. We've been married for 15 years, going to 16. We have 3 beautiful children. We are running 17 businesses, and we are running a church, a ministry that has branches here in South Africa, in Zimbabwe as well. So I'm a pastor, entrepreneur, husband, and a father.
You said you're a husband of one wife.
One wife.
Married for 15 years, going 16.
That's right. Yep.
There's something special with the number 5 and number 10 when it comes to marriage and business. With business, it is said if you can survive the first 5 years, you're almost certain that you'll survive for good.
Yeah.
Most business, they fail within the first 5 years. I think same goes with marriages. Most marriages, once they reach 10 years, between 0 and 5, you're still trying to find yourself.
Yeah.
But once you reach 10 years, it almost takes a miracle, if I were to put it that way, for you to divorce. Is that correct?
It's amazing that you're bringing up that statistic. One of my favorite books is actually called Think and Grow Rich by a man called Napoleon Hill.
Yes.
And he gave a very interesting statistic that most men become very successful, or their highest level of significance is achieved at the age of about 40. And on average, that's usually when a person's been married for 15 to 20 years. So you've broken that 15, that 5, the 10, the 15-year barrier. And I used to ask myself, what's the secret with them being 40 and beginning to, and I thought maybe it's because life begins at 40. But I then realized that at about that age, a man has matured enough to understand how to deal with his wife, how to handle his marriage, how to handle his key relationships. And it is that key of handling relationships, particularly marriage, that matures one into business. Immature people usually will make unsound business decisions, unsound investments, and so on. But when you reach a certain level of maturity in handling relationships, that actually spills over into business. So there is definitely a relationship between that maturity factor, the time factor, in terms of you crossing over certain lines. But it's you that begins to grow into becoming a mature businessman or woman.
In life, I also realize that men are like helicopters.
Okay.
Women are like aeroplanes.
I'm listening.
Men will call a spade a spade. If I want a glass of water, I'll say, no, give me that glass of water. Just like a helicopter. You just take up, as simple as all that.
Yeah.
But with women, they circle around like helicopter. before they hit the ground. A woman will tell you the grass is too tall. You need to cut it. But the issue is not with the grass. She's still circling. You rush and cut the grass.
Yeah.
She comes with another excuse. The house needs to be painted. You come and paint the house. She's still circling. Maybe the issue is that you are coming late at home. She needs your attention.
That's so true. That's so true. And that's where you'll notice the difference between the newlyweds, because they won't pick up the language. They just assume that because I heard this, that's what she meant.
Yeah.
But it's listening. I call it listening between the lines. The more mature you are in marriage, the more you are able to listen between the lines. Because when a wife says, for example, I like your analogy, when she says, when you ask her, how are you doing and how was your day? And she says, I'm fine. Don't hear the words, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You must listen between the lines, because she's saying, I'm fine, but I need you to investigate further. I need you to go deeper. I need you to really search me, because I'm feeling something, I'm experiencing something that you need to get to. And it's that ability to pick up that detail that will now begin to translate to business success. Because your ability to listen between the lines is what makes you an outstanding entrepreneur or business person.
With women, they cycle. They want you to cycle. You cycle.
Yeah.
They want your attention. You talk to them.
Yes.
After talking to them, you cycle around their mouth. After cycling around their mouth, maybe you cycle around their breasts. Then you cycle all over.
All over.
Before you start.
You know the saying, if you want to be in heaven at 11, start at 7.
Yeah.
So if you don't start at 7 a.m. to build up to what you're going to get at 11 p.m., you're not going to get it. So you've got to build your case the whole day. The little SMSs, the little messages, the little note, the flowers at the desk, and then getting home early, the little games that you play. You've got to be a master of building up to what you want. So once you learn the art of delayed gratification as a man, you now have the ability to build your case to ultimately that which you want to achieve. And that's what makes a successful husband and a successful businessman.
Great sex starts early in the morning.
Absolutely.
When she drives out of your yard and say, have a great day, honey.
Yeah. She gets to the office, you send her a message, I'm missing you already. I'm remembering last night. You're so special.
She comes back home ready and prepared for you.
Oh, my goodness, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
But you mentioned the word delayed gratification. Can we take that one a little bit further? I'm saying this delayed gratification because when we talk about sex sometimes, most men, when they reach the climax, they stop. And the woman is never satisfied.
Absolutely.
As long as they're satisfied, they are happy. I think there's an element of selfishness there.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how we can teach men delayed gratification, how to hold back until the other partner is satisfied. Because I want to believe with sex, I need to make my partner happy. That should be my goal, not me being happy. If I can make my partner happy, and if my partner's goal in sex is also to make me happy, at the end of the event, we're both winners.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, in my first 2 years of marriage, our sex life was a near disaster, simply because I was never taught this principle. I was made to believe that sex is, you just get in the bedroom and 1, 2, 3, you get it done, let's sleep, we'll wait until tomorrow. But after a while, I began to realize that my wife had developed almost a resentment for sexual contact. And I thought, what's wrong? Is there a problem? Is she not enjoying it? Is there something I'm not doing right? And yes, it was true. There was something I was not doing right. I was not taking that process of building her to that place, because for her to really have a wonderful encounter sexually, she must also experience orgasm. And there are a lot of women from the coaching sessions we've had and the seminars, there are a lot of women that have non-orgasmic sex. They don't have orgasms. They don't experience the full expression of what God designed sex to be. And sooner or later, sex becomes a source of pain. And when sex becomes a pain, women become sex averse. They don't want to have it. So if I learn to have delayed gratification, I'm building, like I said, build your case. Build it progressively. You know where you want to get to. You know what you want to achieve ultimately. But you build it slowly, just like when you're working with a client. If you want to sign up a 25 million rand deal, you don't just get there and say, I want to sign. You start phoning them. You take them for golf. You start discussing. You build your case until there's trust, until there's openness, until they know who you are. Then ultimately you say, this is what I'm bringing on the table. Similar to sex. When you learn to build your case, she trusts you. She becomes open. She becomes vulnerable. She begins to relax. And when a woman is in a state of being relaxed, she can give herself completely to you in an atmosphere that is totally open, totally full of trust, totally with anticipation of excitement. And that's where she will now begin to experience orgasm and eventually get to multiple orgasms in just one sexual encounter. And that's God's design. Sex was designed to be beautiful.
A multiple orgasm is a mystery to many people.
They must read my book.
and they'll know how to do it.
They'll know how to build up to... there's a chapter in there called The Greatest Sex Life Ever. We talk about how to build up to a place where you actually have both husband and wife can actually have multiple orgasms in one sexual encounter. And that's what begins to bring your hormones to the highest level of expression, and also begins to bring the highest level of creativity. I tell people the reason I've been able to be great in birthing business is because of sex. Sex brings out a high level of creativity in men, and God designed it that way. There are hormones that are released in your body during sex that are not released at any other time. And if you have great sex, your imagination, your creativity, your ability to solve problems is at an all-time high.
I've also noticed that a shrewd businessman will strive to maintain the balance between business, spouse, and children.
Yes.
Why is it so?
Because once you learn to master the balance in all those three, it brings out certain skills in you. For example, if I am able to handle my wife, if I'm able to manage the demands that she's placing on my time, that she's placing on the resources that we have, and then of course the children need this, need that. Once I develop, they call it managing the right and left side of your brain. It almost like multitasking. You now have the ability to solve problems on the go. Business is about problem solving. It's about getting solutions. And when you have a wife, you know you already have a whole bunch of problems that you have to solve. Time, schedule, shopping, this, demands, and so on. That also, it takes your ability to be creative to a whole new level. Now, when kids come on the scene, you now have to multiply your abilities as the head of the home. So that ability to solve these problems real time makes you amazing in the boardroom, in the place of business or in the marketplace. So your skills are constantly growing and being sharpened until you have the ability to create solutions on the go.
You say a woman is a project.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I've seen 2 emails that came into my laptop. You see, one of the emails, they were saying a woman, or men rather, it's like an FM radio. One button, on and off, on and off. But a woman is a complicated modern type of a radio with about 17 buttons. There's an on-off, but there's a treble, there's a buzz, There's a graphic equalizers there, a lot of buttons.
Yeah.
And I also received another one where they showed if a man wants to go to Pick and Pay in a shopping mall, he parks the car, goes straight into Pick and Pay, buys whatever he wants, and goes home. But the woman, on the other hand, she knows she wants to go to Pick and Pay and buy whatever she wants to buy. But she will first go to Edgar's, come out. Go to Pick and Pay and still come out. Go to McD, come out. Maybe go to Wimpy, come out. And then later on, she ends up going back to Pick and Pay and pick up the stuff and go back home.
Absolutely. That's how our female counterparts are. And that's the beauty of that difference, because God designed them to be able to handle a whole array of things at the same time. And God designed us to be focused. And that difference was designed to be celebrated and not to be a source of conflict. Because as we go on a trip, for example, business, marketplace, whatever it is, I'm supposed to be very focused. The end result is we hit the profit. She's supposed to notice the detail of who, the employees, the staff, the systems, the processes. And for example, my wife and I, we're in business together, we're in ministry together. I'm very focused. I look at the end goal. I'm always looking at where we're going. She brings in all the detail that I don't like to deal with. She brings in all the stuff. What about this? What about that? And at first it was a source of conflict until I realized that, hey, I need her. Because if I just get to the end without this detail being taken care of, we're going to have problems. So we have become a formidable team. She takes care of the detail. She goes through all that whole trip. I'm just one-track minded. That's where we are going. And that gives us the success that we're experiencing.
And what do you say to a man who only takes his wife for window shopping when the shops are closed?
That's a man who's setting himself up for failure. Because once a wife is happy and is enjoying the experience of going into the shop when it's open and touching and experiencing, that happy woman is going to give you an experience that is going to make your creativity hit an all-time high. A happy woman will make the home so warm. An unhappy woman, your home will become the North Pole.
So we need to take our women when the shops are opened.
When the shops are open. Make her feel good. Tell her, don't worry, honey, use the cards. I'm not going to stress about how much you're using.
You know, Pastor Tich, on that note, what you must do? Maybe we should go for a break. I need to take my woman for shopping.
Let's do that.
Join Marketplace with Charles' 11-day tour of the Holy Land. Take the route Israel traveled from Egypt to the Promised Land. Cross over the Red Sea and float on the Dead Sea, the lowest point on earth with healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. Return via Egyptian pyramids of Giza and explore the rich history of the mother of civilization. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you're looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the marketplace through Israel and Egypt. For more information, call +27 11 804 7550 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.
Welcome back to Marketplace with Charles. I'm sitting here with my guest, Pastor Tich. We spoke about marriage very well. We spoke about family and marriage, but then sex.
Yes, sir.
What do you say to people who are not married and they rush into sex?
Okay.
Because now we've been talking too much about sex, and someone would like to switch off the TV now. And they're not married. They're still dating.
Yeah. No, absolutely. God put rules in the Word of God that are for protection. and he tells us to flee fornication. If you're not married, sex outside of marriage is fornication, and that will have negative consequences on your psychological makeup, proven both medically and from a biblical perspective. People that engage in sex outside of marriage will become people that will have trust issues, that will have confidence issues, that will have creativity issues. It's a whole mess that begins to be activated on the inside of you because you're breaking protocol. God expects you to build trust relationships. The strength of the marketplace is on trust. It's on our ability to be able to have the confidence that I can do business with Charles. But if I've already compromised my emotional setup and makeup because of premarital sex and breaking the whole process, sooner or later I cannot have trust for myself and I cannot trust you. Why? Because I have trust issues. Where are they emanating from? From the fact that I think that every other woman is having sex with somebody else because I had sex with women that I was not married to. So I begin to paint everybody else with the same brush of what I have experienced, and that causes problems. So it's vitally important that we understand that God put rules to protect us, not to control us, not to deny us of something that is wonderful. Sex is wonderful, but it's only functional and beneficial within the context of marriage. Besides, of course, all the sickness and diseases and all the other things that come out of that, your emotional makeup is affected by how your sexuality is.
Let's look into this. Yeah, you have got a successful business person, highly successful.
Yes.
And under normal circumstances, if you are highly successful, women will be after you.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether you are a pastor or not.
Absolutely.
They will be after you.
Absolutely.
As long as you are successful. Others is from the devil. It's evil forces. But others, there is no devil involved. It's just a woman who just woke up and say, that one is successful and I also want him for myself.
Yes. Yes.
What do you tell these successful people? How should they handle this? How should they run like Joseph did?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the principle of vision and focus is vital. I was trained up to believe that the number one reason for failure is broken focus. So as a couple, you must focus on building a strong marriage, a very united marriage. That means the wife or the husband must be committed. The Bible says, defraud not one another. Defraud, in other words, you need to make sure you're meeting each other's sexual needs and appetites. Whether his appetite is 10 times greater than yours, your commitment is to make sure that you're meeting his needs or her needs. And that way you close the door for infidelity. The moment there's fights and tension, the Bible goes on to say, Satan has an ingenious way of tempting you when you least expect it. In other words, an infrequent sex life opens up the door to infidelity. So a couple must have that commitment to say, I will ensure that I meet my husband's needs. He's going on a business trip for 2-3 days. I must make sure that he has an experience with me that last night that he will remember for the next 3 days while he's in that hotel room all by himself. So that kind of mindset is what will help us to build those strong marriages. Because the truth is, you're right, there are women out there that are looking out for your man. They are fighting. Even if you say, no, I'm married, they'll say, no, it doesn't matter. What's wrong with that? I can also be on the side. So it's important that we have a commitment to covenant, a commitment to building trust, a commitment to meeting each other's needs. I must be totally focused on my spouse, on my marriage, and on my business.
You know, I spoke to one businessman who had great sex at home. And he went out on a business trip. And unfortunately, he got trapped. And he sinned.
Okay.
He slept with a woman. But he said to me, the only thing that made me to think of my wife is because we had a great sex before I left home. He said to me, even before I finished up with this woman, I realized she is not better than my woman back home.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that can save a lot of marriages. Imagine if this one was better than your wife at home, do you think you'll ever go back home? You
That's
will
the
need
big
real
problem.
prayers to go back home.
That's a problem, yeah.
You know, but if you realize this one is not anything better than home, you will never ever do it again without any prayer, without any deliverance.
Fortunately for some of us that have never tasted anything else, we can have confidence that my wife is the best.
Is the best,
so I'm
yes.
not going to try anyway. But one of the keys is couples must work at making sure that their sex life is an experience at all times. You must prioritize your sexuality as a couple. Invest, go to seminars, read good books, make sure that it's an experience. It's not one of those always it's by the way, oh, by the way, my husband needs sex. It must be something that we're totally focused on. I'm always amazed at how wives can be so diligent to take a whole afternoon off to go shopping, buy lettuce, buy this, to prepare an awesome meal, but they don't have the same level of creativity for a sexual encounter with their husbands. I think it should be the other way. You must invest more time, go buy some lingerie, go and do something creative. I mean, the harlot in the Bible that we read in Proverbs, she actually says, I've gotten linen from afar. I've put perfumes and fragrances on the bed. I've prepared, and the master of the house has gone for a long time. He took a lot of money. It's amazing how our wives sometimes don't take the same level of investment into creating a great sexual experience for the husband and wife at night. So I think we must prioritize it.
The trick that I use that helps me to survive.
Yeah.
Because I go all over the world, I preach all over the world,
Yeah,
I speak
yeah.
all over the world. And as a result, when women realize that you're so successful, they give you a call and they come as if they want some help. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
And it can be so subtle.
Yeah.
You know, and if you try to help them, then you realize that no, there's an agenda
There's an
behind your
agenda.
help. You know, my first question to all these people, irrespective whether it's a man or a woman nowadays, if you give me a call and say, Pastor Charles, I need assistance, my first question to you, does your own pastor, your local pastor, knows that you are calling me at this time? If the answer is no, go back to your local pastor. Ask for permission to speak to me. Because I also realize that some of the local pastors, they can sort out your problems much better
Absolutely.
than myself, who's just a stranger to you.
That's good ethics right there. That's good ethics. I think a lot of people always take shortcuts. And sometimes it's easy to get excited that I can offer a solution better than the local pastor, as you put it. But there's a problem that exists that the local pastor probably knows.
He has
that
got a
been
history.
Exactly. Exactly.
On that note, Pastor, I think we're out of time once more.
Time flies when you're having fun.
What products do you have that you can offer to our viewers, and how can they get hold of Pastor Tich?
We have 9 books that we have published, and they are all available on africamusread.co.za. Africa Must Read, a website designed to encourage literacy in our continent, good reading material that will enhance your life. So you can get some of our books. 2 of my books are actually on there as a free download, as a gift for you. Success Paradigms 101 and Married and Loving It. If you want to enrich your marriage or build your success factor, you can get those 2 books and other books that you can buy as well on africamusread.co.za.
And I am Charles Ngobeni, signing off on Marketplace with Charles. I guarantee you we need to have Pastor Tich for one more session, because we are not done. We need to finish up our topic with Pastor Tich. Stay tuned next week. You can also get hold of me on Instagram, Charles_Ngobeni, website www.charlesngobeni.com, or you can go into my Facebook and like me, Charles Ngobeni. And if you like me on my Facebook, you also stand a chance of winning a weekend away at Kuwisa Lodge. See you next time, and God bless you.